First thing I'm going to do is build out the tree for my NMEA Backbone and connect it via Bluetooth. And I'm playing a song here. I just wanted to see how it shows up and see I have my mute and volume controls, Nax back, show the artist and the song that's playing. I wonder what this is. Oh, that goes back to this screen. Check out my other video where I installed an engine gateway on the NMEA2000 network, connected it over to my chart plotter, and it allows me to see fuel consumption, RPM, speed, all of my different gauges. Also got my tools ready to go, lots of zip ties to secure cables, make sure we've got a neat installation. My wire crimper, my terminal crimper for these smaller terminals, some waterproof heat shrink butt connectors. I really like these, whether it's for marine or vehicle installation. Not normal butt connectors, but they're butt connectors that will shrink with heat. That's why I've got the torch here, little butane torch. Once you get them crimped on, you heat up the ends and it all shrinks down, creates a watertight seal, and lessens the chance of corrosion at those connections, creates a really good connection. Your wire stripper and then your flush cuts to make sure you have a nice clean installation with your zip ties. We're going to start with building our NMEA Backbone tree. I call it a tree, I don't know what the technical term is. And here's my power cable. Usually they're going to be yellow, sometimes they're black. On the power cable, you have got 3 wires coming out that need to be terminated. Your red fusible connection for your power, your positive 12 volt. The black one is your negative 12 volt. And then this bare wire is the shielding. The shielding's important, and if you leave it disconnected, sometimes you'll run into problems, sometimes you won't. What you want to do with the shielding wire is connect it to a negative ground that is as close as possible to your battery. If your batteries are in the back and you're setting up the power cable for your NMEA2000 Backbone all the way in the front of the boat, really far from the batteries, you might want to run this shielding cable all the way back and terminate it close to the battery. In my case, I have my helm here. I'm going to be building my NMEA Backbone and the power supply for it right there. And I have a bus bar that is here for my amplifier and my chart plotter and some of the other electronics up here. And this runs from here with a 2/0 gauge copper cable all the way to the back of the boat directly to the house batteries. So that is a pretty straight run to the batteries. It's not going through any other things. So I'm going to connect the shielding cable and the ground cable to a ground right here behind the dash. First thing I'm going to do is build out the tree for my NMEA Backbone. I've got 3 T connectors. You've got 1, 2, and 3. And then on the ends, you've got the 2 terminators, which are required. You want to terminate at the 2 far ends of your tree. Now, some people will extend this tree to be all the way in the back of the boat if they've got other accessories back there, and that's totally fine. You can extend your backbone to any part of the boat that you need, but you want to make sure at the very ends of your backbone you have the terminators. They're going to belong on each and opposite end. So you need 2 terminators, one here, one over there, and then enough T connectors or splitters to connect all of your devices and your power. This one I have connected here is going to our Garmin UHD chart plotter, and the middle one I'm going to run to power with the yellow backbone power cable. I went ahead and got the NMEA2000 network set up on the boat after I moved the Fusion stereo over to this location at the helm versus in the glove box where it used to be. I got everything powered on, connected. Then a week or so later, I went ahead and connected it to the NMEA2000 network, built a backbone out. In addition to some other components I installed, connected it to the Garmin, and this is the first time I have it powered on, and we're going to see what the interface and everything looks like from the Fusion to the Garmin. So let's see. Usually we'll come up with this screen. Let's go back. Wow, it popped up right away. So we've got media. That is not normally there. It's there because it sees the Fusion head unit and the NMEA network. So let's go ahead and click on that. Huh, interesting. Select Bluetooth device. Oh, here it is. Bluetooth devices, connections, paired devices. It even knows what devices I have paired. So that's good. You can just select the one you want. This is much easier than trying to navigate through the menu on that guy. You can make it discoverable so that you can pair to it with a new phone. Let's see, what else do we have? You've got your volume up and down. What is this? Oh, you can turn your different zones up and down as well. I do have 2 zones connected. I have them set up to where they're synced. That way I can just turn the volume knob or use one of the remotes like we have over there or over there, or at the swim platform area in the back. We can use one of those remotes, and it has zone 1 and 2 synced. I have that set up to where it's the front half of the boat, the back half of the boat. So if you want to split them out, I guess you can manipulate them here. Let's see, you also got your mute button, back, next, etc. What's under menu? You can switch your source. We're usually on Bluetooth, but if you do have XM or iPod connector, DAB, or FM, you can select them from here. Again, that's so much easier than having to manipulate on the Fusion with all the little buttons and the turn knob. So that was source. You can power it on or off. That's interesting that you can power it on and off from here. That's good to know. Oh wow, this is really nice to have. So normally I would have to manipulate all of this through the cell phone app, which, to tell you the truth, is a giant pain in the butt. Really finicky, doesn't work that well. I hate Fusion's phone application. Let's see, volume, equalizer. Wow, you got separate equalizers for zone 1 and 2. That's really interesting. So if you have different types of speakers connected to zone 1, different types of speakers connected to zone 2, or different sizes that is, you can connect those separately and also control the equalizer separately. Then you've got your subwoofer level for zone 1 and 2. What else? Zone 2 enabled. You can disable zone 2 if you have anything. If you have everything connected through zone 1 to one RCA out pair and one set of amplifiers, you don't want to deal with zone 2. You don't want it showing up on your interface. If you disable it, zone 2 won't even show up on any of the volume and equalizer controls anymore. Balance left and right on zone 1 and 2. Oh, you've got your subwoofer filter here as well, if you want to use this filter versus the one on your amp. You can name your zones 1 and 2. I did not know that. Volume limits. You can set the max limit of zone 1 and 2. So if you're going through tuning everything on your stereo system, your amplifiers, your stereo, everything, and you get to a point where you've got everything maxed out and set to where you can actually hear it in a good way at max volume, but you don't necessarily want to get it there, you can set the maximum volume to be at a different point. That way, when people crank it all the way up using the volume button or the knob up here, they don't damage anything on your boat. And that's it there. Installation. Oh, you can call it something else. We have the Fusion RA210, and that's the name that it has from the factory. I'm going to leave it as that, but if you wanted to, you could name it something else. You can reset to factory defaults. We don't want to do that. I wonder if you can update the software through here. So normally when I have updated the software for this Fusion head unit, there's a USB port in the back of it. I load the Fusion software update onto a USB stick in the root drive, and it updates that way. But I guess this is just, yeah, I think this is just the controls for it. You probably still have to run it through the USB port. And then you can also, if you're using the NRX remotes, you update it from the head unit, or in this case from here. Tell mute, that means the radio will mute if your phone is ringing and you're connected via Bluetooth. So that's it there. That's pretty interesting. I went ahead and connected via Bluetooth, and I'm playing a song here. I just wanted to see how it shows up. So it shows the name of the song, the artist, all the relevant information that you would want. I don't see the album cover, which would be nice to see, but I guess it's not necessary. If you look on the Fusion head unit, the album cover shows up there, but not here. Again, no big deal, but one of those things. I don't know if it's different based on which Garmin unit you have as well. I know different Garmin units will show the Fusion data differently on the interface. So let's see. Oh, mute works. Unmute. Oh, wow. I'm happy with this. I like it. If you're thinking about getting a Fusion head unit, or if you already have a Fusion head unit and you also have a Garmin unit in your boat, whether it's the touchscreen ones that are newer or even the old button controlled ones, I would highly recommend, as long as your GPS system, your chart plotter is compatible with the NMEA2000 network, get the cables, the connectors, and connect your Fusion system, whether it's one of the more simple ones or the more expensive, complicated ones. Get it connected to your chart plotter. That is very convenient, and I'm probably never going to look at that thing again. I'm glad I moved it here because it's out of the glove box, and the glove box has lots more usable space now, and it's in front of me, so nobody else is going to mess with it. The only thing other people can mess with are the remotes, which are literally volume up and down, pause, play, and skip, and previous song. That's perfect. That's all the control I want other people to have, and I want this in front of me so nobody else touches it. But I would highly recommend getting it connected to your chart plotter via the NMEA2000 Setup. Works beautifully. There's no lag. It works amazingly well. And if you do go that route, check out my other video where I installed an engine gateway on the NMEA2000 network, connected it over to my chart plotter, and it allows me to see fuel consumption, RPM, speed, all of my different gauges that you would normally have on your dash, your gauge cluster. Depending on what kind of engine you have, it shows different data, more or less. And at some point, I'm going to put a screen up here, either a second screen up here, or I'm going to move this plus a second screen up here. So there'll be either one in the middle, or there'll be side by side, two of them. And a lot of what you see here that is beautiful but old will be removed, and I'll be rebuilding that entire gauge cluster plate. I don't know when, but at some point I'll get around to it. But definitely check out the other video where I go over the engine gateway installation as well. Hope you enjoyed this video. It was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and see you next time. One other thing I wanted to do is protect this screen while we're not using the boat. or if we're stuck in a rainstorm or something like that, just to have some kind of protection there. And I searched around, and it turns out Fusion actually makes a cover for these head units. Bought it here. Has this little slot that by default it's covered up there. I saw some people cut that little piece out with the razor blade to allow air to circulate in there. I don't think that's really needed, but we'll see. If I get any moisture under there, I'll probably cut that out, that little piece there, to allow some circulation, some moisture doesn't build up. But let's see how it fits. That's perfect. So now that's covered. The Garmin's covered. Everything's protected while we're not using it. I feel really good about that. I'll put the link for that down below in the description as well, in case you want to get one for your Fusion, no matter where it's mounted. I'm really happy with the way that turned out.